Imagine a world where nations aren't just free politically, but control their own economic destiny. That's exactly what's happening in West Africa right now. Three countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, have united to create something extraordinary. The Confederate Bank for Investment and Development, or BCID AES. With an initial capital of over $820 million, this bank was built entirely by Africans for Africans, without a single penny from the West. No foreign loans, no oversight, no permissions. This isn't just about money. It's about reclaiming sovereignty and rewriting the rules of development. How did they do it? And what does this mean for Africa's future? Stay tuned. To understand why this bank is such a big deal, let's go back in time. For centuries, Africa's wealth, its gold, diamonds, and natural resources, was exploited by colonial powers. European nations built empires on African soil, leaving behind economies that struggled to stand on their own. Even after independence in the mid-20th century, many African countries remained tied to their former colonizers through foreign aid and loans. Institutions like the IMF and World Bank offered financial help, but it often came with strict conditions. These conditions, known as structural adjustment programs, forced countries to cut public spending, devalue their currencies, and open their markets to foreign companies. The result? Increased poverty, inequality, and a sense that true independence was still out of reach. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger know this story all too well. For decades, they've relied on foreign aid and the French-controlled CFA franc, a currency tied to the euro and managed by France. Many see the CFA franc as a lingering symbol of colonial control, limiting their economic freedom. Frustrated by broken promises, exploitative contracts, and sanctions after political changes, these nations decided to take action. In September 2023, they formed the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, to strengthen security against terrorism. But their vision grew bigger. On November 25, 2023, their ministers of economy and finance recommended creating the BCID AES, a bank to fund their own development. With over $820 million in initial capital, entirely self-funded, this bank is a bold statement. These countries are ready to build their future without waiting for Western approval. The BCID AES isn't just about money. It's about priorities. Unlike foreign-funded projects that often benefit outside investors, this bank focuses on local needs. It plans to invest in power plants to bring electricity to rural areas, roads to connect communities, agriculture to ensure food security, and education to empower the next generation. These projects aim for long-term transformation, not short-term profits. The bank's creation was announced at the AES's first summit on July 6, 2024, at the Mahatma Gandhi International Conference Center in Niamey, Niger, marking a historic step toward economic sovereignty. Why should you care about this? Because it's a story of courage and self-determination that resonates with everyone. We all want to control our own lives, make our own choices, and build a future that reflects our values. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are doing just that on a massive scale. By creating their own bank, they're ensuring their resources serve their people, farmers, teachers, young entrepreneurs, not distant corporations or foreign governments. This move is inspiring, especially in a region that has faced terrorism, poverty, and political upheaval. It shows that even in tough times, bold leadership can spark change. It's a reminder that true freedom means controlling not just your borders, but your economy too. But the story doesn't stop there. The BCID AES has even bigger plans. It aims to empower the youth, create millions of jobs, and potentially launch a new regional currency to replace the CFA franc. For years, the CFA franc has tied West African economies to France, with critics calling it a colonial relic. A new currency could break those chains, giving these nations full control over their monetary policies. Imagine the impact. Solar farms lighting up villages, modern highways linking cities, and thriving farms feeding the region. This could be the start of Africa's second independence. a chance to redefine what development means on African terms. Colonel Assimi Goïta, president of the AES, captured this vision when he spoke at the Alliance's anniversary in September 2024. He said, "True to our commitment to African integration, the Confederation remains open to all sub-regional and regional partnerships that respect non-interference and sovereignty." He added, "We envision the AES as not just a state alliance, but a people's alliance focused on the well-being of our citizens." These words reflect the heart of the BCID AES, a bank built for the people, by the people. Of course, not everyone is on board. Critics argue that Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have struggled with corruption and governance issues in the past. They question whether these countries have the capacity to manage a major financial institution like the BCID AES. Concerns about transparency and accountability are real, and some worry that funds could be misused. But supporters counter that these risks are worth taking. They argue that with strong governance structures and a commitment to local priorities, the bank can succeed. It's a chance to prove that African nations can lead their own development, setting an example for others across the continent. This move also has global implications. By stepping away from Western financial institutions, these countries are challenging a system that has long benefited from African dependency. The silence from Western powers suggests they see the BCID AES as a potential threat, not to peace, but to their influence. Meanwhile, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are exploring partnerships with non-Western powers like Russia and China, though their leaders insist the goal is self-reliance, not new dependencies. The bank will focus on connecting internal economies, investing in renewable energy like solar and wind, and boosting regional trade. It's a blueprint for post-colonial economic freedom, showing the world that Africa can shape its own destiny. So, what can you do? First, stay informed. Follow the progress of the BCID AES and see how it transforms West Africa. Check out news from sources like Ecofin Agency or Africa News to stay updated. Second, support African-led initiatives. Buy fair trade products, invest in African businesses, or share this story to raise awareness. Africa isn't waiting for saviors. It's forging its own path. This is the continent's second independence, a bold step toward economic freedom. Let's celebrate and support this historic moment.